Welcome to B1 Ministries, a podcast for the outcast. Spiritual conversations for everyday people. Come on. Be one with your universe. Be one with love for all humanity. Be one. Spiritual conversations for everyday people. Be one with love for all humanity.
All right. Here we go. B1 Love, B1 Ministries.
Yes.
Coming at you with another interview from my dear friend, Pastor Hunter, Michael Hunter.
Yes.
And we actually did this once before on my cell phone, which we gave it a gallant effort. But my lovely bride, she decided to get me a HD camera for Father's Day / my birthday.
There we go.
And, she said, baby, if you're going to do this right. So, and thank the Lord for a loving wife that is, no matter how crazy my dream might sound, she's like 100% behind me. And you know what? That's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And that, a little bit leads into what this particular interview is about. I kind of wanted to really talk about marriage and what does that really look like to honor marriage and to be 100 in that and integrity, even when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's where it really, and the humility piece of that, which is super important because as a husband, as a father, you're going to have to find some humility.
Better believe it.
I mean, that's just kind of part of the deal, right?
Yes.
And so just wanted to give you a little shout out. So Heart to Heart.
Heart to Heart Connect.
What's the website?
It is hearttoheartconnect.net, and that's with the number 2, heart 2.
Heart.
Yeah, connect.net.
And so you and your lovely bride, as we kind of talked about before, just to kind of resume you guys up a little bit, about how many couples y'all worked with in your time?
About 200 couples.
Wow.
Yes, 200 couples, and I would say that the most fulfilling, couples that we've worked with have been those who have actually had a divorce and they came to us for counseling and we remarried them, and we had 2 couples like that, and both of them are married right now today. One is celebrating 40 years of marriage, and the other couple is celebrating, I think it's like about pretty close to the same, about 35 years of marriage.
You're talking about couples that broke up.
Yes.
And came back.
It came back. Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
Cool.
I had a couple who divorced because of adultery, and they came to us before we came to Seattle, and they came to us and talked with us, and we were able to work them through some problems and things, and they got remarried, moved on with their life, and are now pastoring a church, and and just celebrated 40 years of marriage. Had another couple that had been divorced for 10 years and was off living their life, doing other things. They still loved each other. They wanted to be with each other, came back, started talking with us, and they reconnected, and they now 35 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny too because, not to sidetrack, but, I often hear the word adultery or adulteress. And a lot of times people just really kind of narrow that into a relationship outside of your home.
Yeah.
However, I have found, for me, I can't even do anything that my wife is not visible of.
Yeah.
not in terms of another woman or anything, but even just the little things in life, making decisions on my own, or doing stuff that like I know's out of pocket. That's kind of adultery to me.
It is.
Because you're taking away from your center life with your oneness with your wife, and you over like maybe you just buying stuff you really shouldn't be buying, and putting the family a little on edge in terms of finance because you needed a new, in my case, a new guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Or a little toy or something that really wasn't something you needed.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of a little form of adultery, because I believe that once you start those little things, they kind of mushroom.
They do mushroom.
And lies.
Yeah.
Lies is kind of like an adulterous kind of event, because you're not being 100, right?
Yeah.
And so when I hear that, I always think of that in my mind. I got to be completely 100 with my wife. Like, we do. And we are like that, too.
Yes,
I mean,
we do.
Some people look at us like, what the heck is wrong with them folks? Because we pretty raw.
You got to be.
But, we best friends because of that. Because there's nothing we can't share with each other. And I'm so blessed to have that. And so one of the questions that I always spin up in these interviews is the meaning of love, like the word, like what is that? How does that resonate with you, especially with your experience working with so many? And then also, because you and I have worked with teens for about 8 years now, and on the mentor level. And then we were also in relationship in small groups and working with men before that. So we probably, 10, 12 years into this relationship that we have with one another. And so that has a lot of different colors of love, right?
It does.
And so when you try to describe like the word love, what is that? How's that resonate with you as a pastor, as a friend, as a father?
I think the best way I would describe love is something that it's more of an action word, and so it's not something that you say. We can tell people we love them, but when we just be love to people, I think that's more accurate, because sometimes, it says, my father had this saying, and he said, how can I hear the things you say when the things you do keep ringing in my ear? And so you can tell somebody I love you, but just what you do says, I don't really love you. And so I believe it's more of how we act, how we walk, how we treat people, what you do, for how you treat me determines your love to me more than what you say to me. Yeah.
And that's tweetable right there.
All right.
And so, often looking at, we kind of kicked this around last time about the model of marriage, and how, to me, it seems that this idea that the Bible painted, or this structure of what the Bible painted love or marriage to be, a lot of men have a little issue with being a bride.
Yes.
With Christ. But even though the words say, you're the bride of Christ, blah, blah, blah. So that, I think, Proverbs, 31 kind of describes what a wife looked like.
Yes.
But when I look at my relationship to God or spirituality or the universe, I think that all of those rules apply to me first before I can go ask my bride to lean into that.
Come on.
Right? So if I'm not showing what a model of that looks like with my relationship to God, because I believe,
I think that's the best model.
My wife probably loves me more so because she sees I interact with God as a bride, with humility, and I do for my family, and that's what we do with the community and all that is my family.
Yes.
And Proverbs 31 is a cold piece.
It is a cold piece.
How to be a good husband. You need to read that, right? I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, because she's a dynamite woman. Proverbs 31 woman is off the chain, and it just makes us step up our game,
Right.
Because really the man in Proverbs 31 is about business. And because he's about business, he has a supportive wife that's behind him, that's making what he's doing and taking care of, makes it more significant.
Right.
And so to me, that's powerful. That's powerful.
City.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And I think really, like, even outside of marriage, like, like I said, if we're leaning into that and we're being visible in that, and it's wholehearted, and it's not just a game or anything. We can kind of lean in to ask our wives to be that in our marriages. But I believe too, you know, when we deal with God's kids, the community, and you know, our brothers, and all this stuff that we get to do in a year's time, hanging out with folks, we still have to have that bride mentality.
We do. We do.
And I love this model.
Yes, servant. Yeah.
Because like literally, and I love how Jesus leaned into that, and you know, they were like, "Oh no, man, we can't wash your feet, Jesus, you the Messiah." Woo, woo. And really, I love his comeback on that. Like, nah, you can't be like me unless you can learn how to do this here. And the significant parable in that for me, what's always stuck out is in them days and times. Them cats was walking around in sandals and the
dirty feet,
dusty, and they had some dirty feet. And he was willing to wash the nasty, grimy, dirty feet. And the significance in that to me, in this day and age, is that our loved ones will go out into the world and come back with some pretty dirty feet. With all the media and all the messaging and all that. And it's up to us to bow down and wash them feet and keep them clean. So you know what I mean?
Correct.
And that's that act of humility, I think. Oftentimes we get mad at what a person's doing, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we say that's the whole person. Yeah. When actually it just got dirty feet.
Yeah. That's all he has.
And that, to me, I feel is our purpose as husbands and whatnot.
You know, that's a twofold purpose behind that. And because it does something. It does something for us because it teaches us humility, and it allows us to serve other people. But it does something for the other person because they're looking at you wondering, why would you even do that for me?
I know.
And so to do that for a person really impacts their life. And I think that if we serve the way we're supposed to serve people and love people the way we're supposed to love them, we'll leave that kind of residue in them.
Right.
And I want to wow in people's lives. I want to leave you better. When I meet you, and when we part ways and go somewhere, I want you to be better than when you met me. You know, because I don't ever want to leave you tattered and torn. And so I may have to go back and I may have to apologize. I may have to go back and I may have to correct some things. And there've been scenarios, and there are still some fragments that I still got to go back and correct, you know. But my goal is to make sure that I don't want to leave this life with tattered and torn relationships. I don't want to leave this life like that.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so one of the questions of wisdom that I have for you, because you've seen and talked to so many different people on so many different paths and part of the path and levels, what would be your advice? Because a lot of times we talk about these things, lean in and love well, but there's really no how-to on the deal. And so if you were to give advice to a young person or even an older person about the roadmap to becoming stronger spiritually in loving well, what would you say to that? To give a person a practical application. We just left talking about doing the little things. Just making up your bed every day is a good start.
And I think that was powerful. You know, if I want to change the world, I got to learn how to make up my bed. And to me, that really is the answer to your question. Because our beds, and this is funny, because my mama used to always tell me, she says, son, you know, the bed you make, you got to lie in it. So it really kind of goes back to what kind of bed are you making, you know? Because sometimes people they don't, the sheets are kind of like all still messed up, and you just throw the cover back over top, throw the pillow back on top, and you ain't made up no bed. So it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. And I think that's what it is in any kind of relationship, in any kind of whatever relationship that we have in life, we got to put some work into them. And I think that I want to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And so if I want love, I'm gonna show love. You know, if I want friends, I'm gonna be friendly. And so I really try to model that, and I try to be the person that I want others to be to me. Sometimes it don't always work. Because sometimes people treat you, and so that's why I always walk in forgiveness. I don't hang on to stuff with people, because I realize that might be their struggle, that might be their challenge, and so why would I take their challenge now, put it on my life, and make it mine? So I'll release you. I'll let you go. I'm not gonna hold nothing against you. Next time you see me, I'm gonna treat you just like it never happened, because I got too much in life that's at stake.
And so, and I hear that, right?
Yeah.
But how do you do that with folks that's unlovable? Because we got some cats. I mean, I'm just keeping it.
I got you.
Like, there's some cats I just really, like, I ain't feeling that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be critical.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to love the unlovable, man.
Yeah. You know, you ever heard the statement, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer? This very person that we look at, that washed that feet, had a gentleman that sat at his table, Judas, and we all have Judases in our life, and he kept him real close. He became a part of his plan for success. And that's where we a lot of time miss it, because what we do is we shoot that person that may be our plan for success, because we think that he's in the way, but actually he's a part of, it's almost like the butterfly effect. He needs the cocoon in order for him to become the butterfly and fly away. And don't realize that that person, that Judas in your life, helps define your character, helps make you who you are. And I think that they make you a better person. And if I learn not to be impacted by that person and drag along behind me a cart full of unforgiveness for that person, then I become a better person, and I use the struggle that I may have with that person to get me on top.
That reminds me when I had my interview with Pastor Belton, and one of the statements that he made was, you know, unforgiveness is like, I'm going to drink the poison hoping you die.
Come on, man.
And you might not even have no idea.
Yeah. Yes.
Poison on a daily basis.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And how that can strangle out the ability for God's love to flow through you, because you're so poisonous.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
And so that's something that I really have, you know, tried to work on throughout the years. And I really have to tell you, Pastor, like, you know, our time together over these last few years has, and it ain't been a few, it's been a minute, a decade.
Yeah, sure has.
But, you know, being with you helped shape and mold who I am today.
Thank you.
And especially where it comes to relationships, because one of the things that I've always adored about you is you always bring a humble spirit to even a crazy situation. And not everybody can do that, because they get caught up in the, you know, he said, she said, and you always come with that word of, well, you know, you got to remember where we came from, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated that about you. And I really believe that it's important to have people in your life that you can look to for that reflection of what you would want to be.
Amen.
You know, I've always wanted to be a good husband, but I don't know much about that.
You're a good husband.
Street, right?
You're a good husband.
And so on today, I feel like I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
But we all got work to do. Every single
Show
day,
me,
right?
show me somebody that don't, man.
I'm just saying, right?
Show me somebody that don't.
I'm just saying.
We all do, man.
And so I know I'm gonna try to keep this down to 15. But so if there's any one thing that if you had an opportunity to tell the world about how to better love one another, what would you say? If you had that one clip where somebody just handed you the mic, it's going global today, right now, what would you say? I know that's quite a question, but...
Yeah. I think about something that I heard Steve Harvey talk about, and that was, what's in your dash? And that dash is when you were born, and then there's a dash, and when you die. And people may never remember you for what you did when you were born or when you came into the world. And they may not even remember what happened when you died. They may come to the funeral and then forget all about the funeral, but they will never forget about what happened in the in-betweens. And that spoke volumes to me. And so I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing right now this is my dash right now. And I want to leave the biggest impact upon people, that they would remember, not on the negative side, but on the positive side, how to be a better person, how to love, how to care, how to forgive. I want to make sure I leave that kind of legacy in people's hearts, more than the legacy of saying, that rascal, look where he left me, look how he hurt me, he did this, he did that. And so I don't want to leave those kind of things. And so I do my best to make sure that that I try to treat people in such a way, and this is why, do that. Treat your last breath may be right now. I could take a breath, I could walk away from this camera, and that could be my last breath. Amen. But I think that if we do whatever we need to do now and do it right and do it well, then we don't have to worry about our last breath. And when we take our last breath, people are going to remember us for that dash.
That's a good word. That's
Yeah.
a good word. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up. Man, thank you so much for just being willing to come back to the table. It's funny because last time we did this, y'all, we must have did 4 takes on my phone and kept turning off. And we were like, well, we didn't get it. And we couldn't see the screen. So it was just hilarious. But God knows his business, because I really enjoyed our conversation regardless of the recording and whatnot.
I enjoy you.
But I'm really grateful that, God allows us to hang out and be a light, to the community. And you've helped me to learn how to be that light and stand. So again, Pastor Hunter, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity to hang out and just lean into what does love look like. Be one love. I don't know why God has inspired my heart to do what I'm doing, but I do know that it's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Even if it don't make no sense.
I believe that.
It's really
I believe
not
that.
up to me.
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes things don't make sense today, but that later will definitely make a difference. You know what I mean? And one of the real reasons that I think this was important to me is because I am of the variety that is really kind of a little squiggly about church, or formal religion.
Yeah, I got you. I know what you're saying.
But it's like, I know there's so many people, young people, especially this generation, that would love to lean into something if it wasn't so weird looking. You know what I mean? And because of the online communities and whatnot, I know there's a lot of folks that would tune in on a Sunday to get the word.
You better believe it.
From everyday kind of. I love our little tagline is spiritual conversations for everyday people.
Yes.
A podcast for the outcast.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Because really, I just want to make a comfortable place for anybody, no matter what your background, ethnic, financial, whatever, that you would be welcome into a conversation about love. And what does that look like for the growth of my spirit, so that I can be all that God would have me to be. Because there's so many blocks. And when you're blocked out with fear and guilt and shame and worry and that stuff just debilitates people. It is, man. And it's really hard to love.
It's debilitating.
When you're caught up in that in your head. And I don't know how God's doing what He's doing with this to accomplish His end result, but I know in my heart of hearts that that's what He's doing with it. And so I'm just going to let God be God, and I just thank you for walking alongside of me all of these years and giving me an opportunity to just be me. You've always kind of encouraged me to just be me. And I love that, man.
Man. That's it, man.
Much. So anyway, B1 Love, B1 Ministries, Seattle, Washington, William Hughes, Pastor Hunter, Michael Hunter, and we out.
We love you.
Welcome to B1 Ministries, a podcast for the outcast. Spiritual conversations for everyday people. Come on. Be one with your universe. Be one with love. For all humanity. Be one. Spiritual conversations. conversations for everyday people. V1 with love for all humanity.